Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your February 2019 general reading. Thank you for joining us here today. Welcome to any newcomers. Welcome to any returners, those subscribers, and any of you who continue to follow my YouTube channel. And thank you to those of you who do, and for those of you who take the time to send in your support, feedback, and comments. Thanks to also all of my clients out there, both my regular and new clients. You guys always keep me so joyfully busy and occupied with personal one-on-one readings, and I hope everyone watching is having a wonderful new start to this new year of ours. And as those of you who follow me regularly know, if you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, live or recorded, you can click on the description bar below for more info and contact details. You can click on the description bar of any of the videos I post, or you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage, click on the little About button there. Please feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you. I can usually get back to you within the same day or the first 24 hours of your initial contact with more info. And turnaround time for personal readings is usually pretty good too, live or recorded. I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week. It is the sum total of what I do. So I work pretty diligently with people's schedules to get them readings as quickly as possible. So if you're interested, send me an email and we will go from there. For those of you who need quick answers to fast, easy questions, little short questions, you can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy, and that link is also provided. But for traditional readings or the more complex issues, email me and we'll set something up for you. All right, those of you who know your rising and moon sign, watch those videos as well. They can provide additional or sometimes better clarification. Let's move right into this reading. This reading is for the water sign of Scorpio for the month of February 2019. Let's see what's in store for our wonderful charismatic Scorpios for February 2019. All right, Scorpio, around the first week or so, we have the Queen of Wands, clarified by the Six of Wands. I say the first week or so because time is always fluid. Of course, general readings always resonate a little differently for everyone watching because there's so many of you watching. So around the second week, we have the Two of Swords with the Page of Cups. Around the third week, we have the King of Swords, followed by the Nine of Pentacles. And around the last week or so, we have the Eight of Cups, followed by the Seven of Cups. Almost looks like something happens around the first week or during the first week or maybe the end of the first week. From the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and guidance for the majority of the month is the Nine of Swords. I don't like seeing that for the overall energy and focus for the month because the Nine of Swords represents a lot of stress, anxiety, overthinking something, thinking too much about something, particularly fear of the future about something. What am I going to do if this happens? What am I going to do if this doesn't happen? Until it gets built up in your head to be far, far worse than the actual reality of the situation calls for. Somewhat illusionary energy, meaning the source of your concerns might be valid, but overthinking this and feeding into negative thinking and negative futurizing makes it really huge in your head, could interfere with your sleep, your day-to-day life. I mean, it's obviously 2 or 3 a.m. in this card, judging by the position of the moon, and she is completely consumed with whatever these swords represent for her. Swords or air is air energy. That's the element which governs this suit, and it's all about what goes on up in our heads, our belief systems, ideologies, thoughts, etc. And that's what's keeping her up. This little owl on the windowsill, which is close enough for her to reach out and touch, except she can't see them because she's too caught up in what she's consumed by, can represent insight, clarity, a solution, or just that things just aren't that bad. So let me just pull you know, it's interesting too, Scorpio, because the first week we have the Queen of Wands and the Six of Wands, which is fiery, successful, passionate, energetic, charismatic energy. The Six of Wands is could represent Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius in your life, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or just how you end January and come into February just full of fire and passion and zeal and leadership and charisma, clarified by the Six of Wands, which is victory and triumph after a challenge, public recognition, winning an award, having success of some kind after a challenge, you know, being successful in what you're trying to, what you want, what you're going after. And then the rest of the month, it's like this fear and anxiety sets in. So it looks like something actually happens maybe around the first week, end of the first week. Of course, time is always, you could put it a little behind or a little forward. Let's see what causes the rest of this kind of stress, anxiety, and worry. Okay, we have the King of Wands clarified by the Eight of Wands. I think for a lot of you, this is a relationship or partnership issue. I think probably for the majority of you, it's probably in the realm of romance. But some of you, it could be a partnership of another kind. When I do refer to relationship, it doesn't always mean love, romantic relationship. It could be a partnership, a friendship, a, you know, family relationship of that kind. But I think for a lot of you, it's probably a relationship with this King of Wands individual. And you do have the King and Queen of Wands both in this reading, which likely means that for those of you for whom this resonates as a love-romance relationship, this is kind of a karmic connection. The two of you are probably well-matched and well-balanced. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to stay together for the rest of your lives or that you're meant to. But it does kind of imply a strong karmic connection and probably one that was good in its essence. Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, showing up as a king, but could be a female as well. A lot of masculine energy with the King of Wands, passionate, exciting, charismatic energy. There definitely would be no lack of heat in this relationship with the King and Queen of Wands both. It's somebody that I think you're in a relationship with, or have been in a relationship with, or even if I think there may have been separation. There could have been separation between the two of you now or in recent months. It could be a separation in terms of there might have been a breakup, or it could be a separation in that you were taking some time apart, or a separation just in travel distance for some reason. This is, you know, the person that this is centered around, this stress, and it's clarified by the Eight of Wands, which is a card about communication, conversations, and travel as well. I feel quite strongly Aries, Scorpio, interesting. I wonder if it's an Aries some of you are involved with. I feel quite strongly, Scorpio, that you kind of end January, begin February pretty strong with this Queen of Wands and Six of Wands energy. We're doing fairly well. That's how you're coming across. And I feel like you also might be ending January and going into February with a lot of magnetism. I feel like a lot of people might be drawn to you. You might be getting a lot of recognition or a lot of attention, whether it's in your personal life or your career life, or a combination of both. But then it looks like something comes in. I feel like this King of Wands individual, you receive news, communication, have a conversation with them or about them. And I feel like the news is that this person is coming back into your life, and I feel like they may be traveling to see you, or you may be traveling to see them too, which implies that there's been some separation, possibly physical distance between the two of you. Again, it's a general reading, so it's not going to resonate the same, particularly in the details and specifics for everybody. For some of you, it may have been an actual breakup, which has caused a separation or distance. Some of you, it may have been a time out in the relationship, or for some other reason, because I feel like the relationship itself has been really rocky. And there's been some times maybe in the recent past whether you doubt whether this relationship is going to go on, or whether it should go on. So there's the stress and anxiety. I feel like you find this out quickly, or you find out that this person is going to be coming in back into your life rather quickly. They're traveling to meet you, or you're traveling to meet them. And then the rest of the month is like thinking about this. What is this going to be like? And it looks like you're having difficulty making a decision as to what to do. Around the second week or so, we have the Two of Swords clarified by the Page of Cups. So the Two of Swords is a card about being stuck. It's also a card about ignoring something that's right in front of you. Because if you kind of a reluctance or a resistance to take the blindfold off and look at the situation for everything that it is. Because as long as you keep the blindfold on, you're stuck. You can't see, you don't know what to do, you don't have to necessarily make a decision to do anything just yet. But if you take the blindfold off, then it puts you in a position to have to make a choice, to choose a path, to take action, to set something in motion. And there's a reluctance or a resistance to doing this. I often think of this as my elephant in the corner of the room card, or the head stuck in the sand kind of card. So what's this about? Well, it's clarified by the Page of Cups. Message of love, emotional messages of some kind. In the upright position, it doesn't strongly imply that it is positive, this news coming in, or that this person coming in is doing so with a positive intent or messages of love. It could be in healing the relationship, or a commitment to heal the relationship, or wanting to reconcile for some of you. Positive emotional messages. And for some of you, this combination of cards could represent, some of you may just be like, I don't want to think about it, because if I think about it too closely, then I'll have to make a decision, and I don't know which decision to make. Some of you might be afraid to look at the situation clearly, because even though there's this message of love here, there may be something in your gut or in your intuition telling you, I don't think this relationship is good for me. But I don't want to look at it too closely, because then I'll have to make a decision based on that. Some of you might have been just very hurt by this person in the past, and you know this person is coming at you rather quickly, or coming in towards you rather quickly, and you just don't want to think about it, you don't want to look about it, you don't want to talk about it, you just don't want to consider it at all. Some of you are just in this position where you may seem rather neutral or amiable or welcoming of this offer, but again, there's this sense of something that you're not looking at that's right in front of you, something that you're missing in regards to this. Some of you may be missing closing your eyes off to a message of love. Again, because I think this is an established relationship or an established connection. Whether or not you broke up recently or just went through some hard times, I feel like this is somebody that you knew well, that knew you well, that you guys were intimately connected with each other for quite some time. Otherwise, you would not be showing up as the King and Queen of Pentacles both in the same suit. Because, I mean, you can have soulmates of all kinds of different opposite signs coming together. But typically when a king and queen in the same suit show up in the relationship reading, it usually represents that, you know, they're, I mean, that they're fairly well matched. And definitely that they know each other quite well. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're soulmates, and even soulmates don't necessarily mean that you're meant to be together for the rest of your life. Sometimes it's for the opportunity of growth and evolvement for each person, whether that's just for a chapter of your book of life or for the entire book. It just depends on who you are. But it definitely looks like a karmic connection, and it definitely looks like the two of you know each other quite well. So next to that, we have the King of Swords and the Nine of Pentacles around the third week or so. So the King of Swords, I feel this on an energetic level. But for some of you, it could represent an air sign person, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising, that maybe you may be talking with, that you may be seeking advice or guidance with, or maybe giving you counsel, pretty insightful counsel, and not really all that emotionally biased, because swords is air energy, thoughts, ideas, you know. It's not usually, this is a person who loves the truth and clarity so much that he would sacrifice his own emotions on the altar of what he knows to be best, even if it hurts, because he's all about truth, insight, clarity, doing what he knows to be the right thing to do. I love this person, but this person isn't good for me, therefore I must walk away from them, even though it breaks my heart, because I know ultimately it's not right. You know, that kind of person. But I feel like this is somebody, for those of you, I mean, it could be another person in your life in the romance area, but I feel like for a lot of you, it may be somebody that's giving you counsel, or that you're seeking out counsel for. Wise counsel, somebody that's not all that emotionally involved in the relationship, or that not all that emotionally invested in, you know, this isn't somebody that you would instinctively know would say, yes, stay with this person, and that's why you're seeking out advice. What clarifies the King of, but for others of you too, I have to say the King of Swords, if he's not an actual individual in your life giving you this counsel that you're seeking out counsel or advice for, on an energetic level, he's manifesting the same kind of energy that you may be manifesting around the 3rd week or so. So what clarifies that King of Swords is the Nine of Pentacles. This is a card of independence, self-sufficiency, self-empowerment, of loving who you are, where you are, whether you're single, whether you're with somebody, taking care of yourself, paying your own bills, providing your own comforts and stability, knowing that you're just fine doing that on your own. If you want to be with somebody else, you will, but because you want to and you feel that, you know, they're best for you, not because you need somebody to take care of you. It's sometimes called the happy, single, successful female card. It could be male, and it doesn't really matter if you're single or not. What it represents is that you are happy in and of your own self, in your own skin, with your own accomplishments. You're well able to take care of yourself without having to rely or depend on somebody else out of need rather than want. So around the 3rd week or so, you may be thinking quite analytically or receiving the same kind of counsel from somebody else, that you might just be better off on your own. Or you might be thinking, you know, it would make sense, although in terms of love and relationships, how many of us really choose to love the person that makes the most sense for us, right? That it makes the most sense for you to be on your own, that you can take care of yourself. You don't need to be with this person because you need them to take care of you. And it might just be better for you to be on your own. It might be better for your own sense of self-esteem and self-empowerment. And again, some of you may be receiving counsel or advice from someone to this regard as well. I think this person, this King of Wands that's kind of coming towards you rather quickly, for some reason I feel like they may not be coming in until the last half of February or possibly even March. So that's why the majority of this is more contemplative energy rather than action energy. Although if they do come in within the month of February, Scorpio, I feel like you're either neutral or just kind of neutral, amiable, not really committing one way or the other in your words or in your actions, because you're thinking about this. At or towards the end of, I almost said January, February 2019, we have the 8 of Cups and the 7 of Cups. Again, I'm thinking this is more inner contemplative energy. The 8 of Cups is a card of walking away, leaving something behind. Why? Because you ultimately find it disappointing, disillusioning. It turned out to be different than what you thought. It's run its course. You don't know exactly where you're going, but you want to leave this behind because it's not making you happy. It's not bringing you a sense of joy and fulfillment. Where it clarifies it is a 7 of Cups, which is a card of considering multiple options, opportunities. But there is kind of a daydreamy fantasy, what's the potential of all these beautiful, perfect potentials kind of energy. It's not necessarily all that realistic and grounded, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. This is dreamer energy, which is the initial energy that sparks anything new. We have to dream about something first, to have an idea about something, consider the potential and possibilities. So I think for some of you, you may be still just kind of toying with this idea of walking away. Would I be better off if I just left this relationship, this partnership? Would I be better off? I'm able to take care of myself. I don't need somebody else to take care of me. Why am I really here if this isn't bringing me joy and fulfillment? Is there a possibility for us to heal this relationship? If not, should I move on? And what would that life look like if I did that? Maybe considering other love opportunities. I mean, there are 2 kings here and a page. I mean, some of you might have another romance offer or opportunity, or the potential for that as well, that you may be considering, you know, kind of like thinking, you know, it's not like it's this person, it's not like it's this man or woman or no other men or women ever for the rest of my life. That's not realistic. So you may be considering the possibility of being in a relationship with someone else as well. But just, I feel like it's more toying with that idea. I don't feel like a lot of you actually make a definitive decision or action during the majority of February. Although we live in a free will zone, and you certainly can. Particularly if you know this relationship is really negative or toxic for you. It's always a good idea to get out of that. I'm going to pull a final advice guidance card, because I feel like this is going to just be, I don't feel like there's an overwhelming, like I do in some readings, an overwhelming, overriding spirit saying, we strongly support and cradle this avenue. This other one looks kind of painful. I'm not getting that. So it means that it's going to be different for everybody watching, and it's kind of based on your situation and your intuition. Ask God, Spirit, your angels, and guides for insight and clarity as to what is the best thing for you to do here. Let's see if we can pull. I'm going to pull one more advice card for you. Advice for this for February 2019 for Scorpio. Strength. Strength is about facing your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, kind of struggling with your demons, if you will. Something just kept popping up on my screen here. It makes this little sound. Hopefully you guys can't hear that sound. If you can, I apologize. I know I can fix that somehow. I just need to figure out how. It's just started recently. So strength is about facing your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, wrestling with your demons, bad habits, negative thinking, unhealthy patterns or ways that you have or have had of doing things in the past, making bad decisions. It takes a lot of strength to face those, to kind of look in a big mirror of ourselves, to face ourselves without any illusions, you know, which is what you're being asked to do to combat this Two of Swords energy. It takes a lot of strength, wisdom, true humility, and courage to do this, but it's also what you gain more of by going through this process. And this is about self-mastery, self-discipline, and not allowing your fears to control you or make decisions for you, because primarily, Scorpio, when strength comes up as advice from Spirit and how to deal with a situation, regardless of whether you stay with something, do something different, walk away, stay, strength as advice represents face the fears that you have either way. Do not allow the fear to be the thing that makes a decision for you. For instance, if you're in an unhealthy relationship that you know, your gut instinct, your intuition, that you know in your heart of hearts is not good for you, but you stay in there because you're afraid you won't be able to take care of yourself or provide for yourself or find anybody else or anything like that. Don't let that fear be what keeps you in a relationship that you know not to be right for you. The same with, you know, facing your fears about doing what it takes to heal or fix a relationship if you feel like it's worth fixing. Maybe you think that it's better for you to be on your own because you're afraid of doing the work, you're afraid of being honest, you're afraid of whatever it is you're afraid of. Strength is Spirit telling you, Scorpio, regardless of what decision you make, let it be made because you honestly feel, your instinct, your intuition is telling you, you allow God, Spirit, your angels and guides to influence you, not to let the fear be the thing that makes the decision for you, whether the decision is to stay, whether the decision is to go, whatever the decision is. Don't let fear be the thing that decides it. Don't let fear of independence or fear of being with another person be the thing that decides it, because it's just, you know, fear and your emotions actually making the decision. And self-mastery and self-control is about facing those fears, dealing with them, walking through them, and coming out on the other side having tamed them. So a pretty powerful, intense kind of reading, Scorpio, but you're a pretty powerful, intense kind of sign, so it fits for this month. That pretty much wraps up your reading for February 2019, Scorpio. I hope that you found it helpful and that you will continue to find it helpful as the month goes on. Again, for those of you who are interested in a more personal one-on-one reading with me, live or recorded, just click on the description bar below or the description bar on any of my videos, or go to my YouTube channel's homepage, click on the little About button there. Please feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you. I do love and romance, of course, relationship compatibility charting, reconciliation potential, career, work, and finance, as well as investment readings. Gift readings. I also do 6 and 12 month overviews, which take a look at 12 different areas in your life and what's coming in all those main areas of your life over a 6 or 12 month period, depending on how far ahead you want to look. And while you can do those any time of the year, they seem particularly popular around the end of the year, the beginning of a new year. Although you can order them anytime. So something else for you to consider. And you can also find me on that smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy. That link is also provided for the quick, simple, fast, easy questions, answers to those. So I will see you all again, Scorpio, in a couple of weeks for the February 2019 mid-month readings. Until then, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. And I hope to see you back here again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.